Hi everybody, this is Donnaleigh from Donnaleigh.com, and I have a neat spread for you today that is featured in the book by Mario dos Ventos called The Game of Destiny. And this neat book does explain a lot of things about how to do card combinations. It mentions the Grand below at the end, not in great depth, but it does talk about it. And there's another additional spread that he talks about it that fascinated me very much, and so I started to give it a try. This is called the Moreau Spread, and the reason it's called that is it's based on the name of a student of Mlle Lenormand. Her name was Adele Moreau. The nice thing about this spread is the person card always lands right in the middle of the spread, which makes for an adequate future to read and a sufficient past to validate when you're doing a reading. It's not as big as the Grand below, so it's less cumbersome, and there are no houses. So if you're not familiar with houses, or you feel nervous about using houses or don't have the time, this is a great place to go. It's bigger than a 9-card spread, so it gives you a little more information, and I really like the way it works. The author does not state the source of the spread, so I'm unclear as to whether he originated it, if he invented the spread, or whether this was passed down to him from somebody else. And there's no bibliography at the end for resources, so just something to enjoy. Now, I have an actual question from a client, and we'll apply that to the reading. I won't do a full reading, but at least it will give us kind of a starting point so you can see how information comes out. So this is from Lisa, who asks, from a career standpoint, I would like to do something that impacts the lives of many families, and I feel my life's work is still yet to come. I would like to know what the future holds in the area of my career, and will the shift begin by summer 2013? Thank you so much. And that's from Lisa. So let's take a look and see what we find in our spread. There's only 24 cards in this particular spread, plus one of the people cards, so either the man or the woman card, depending on whether your client being male or female. For this spread, before we start reading, what he does is he suggests a certain way to shuffle. I'm not going to get into ways to shuffle, putting the cards into 3 piles. You can do that if you wish, but you do have to take out the woman and the man cards from your deck. This, by the way, happens to be the Lenormand Revolution deck, and it's a wonderful, wonderful deck. The interpretations of this deck are by Carrie Paris, and the art is by Roz Foster. Really fabulous deck, limited edition. Now, in the Grand tableau, we're used to putting across either 8 or 9 cards in 4 rows, and then the 8-card one has an additional one, but this one is a little bit different. What you're going to do is lay out 7 cards. He suggests face down. I don't think I'm going to keep the face down thing, but for the purpose of demonstration, I will show you. I like to just put them face up right from the get-go. Alright, so you've got 7 cards, and when you go to put the 8th one down, what he suggests doing is putting it down at the bottom. Okay? And you put up another 7. And the 8th one goes down at the bottom. Another 7. And then the 8th goes at the bottom. That's the spread. So the remaining cards are put to the side and not used for this. Now you take your significator card, whether it's a man or a woman you're reading for or about, and you put it down right in the center card right there. And that's your spread. I'd like to know what the future holds in the area of my career, and will the shift begin by summer 2013? So by the nature of this question, this will say, this will be the summer of 2013, this will be your past, and this will be where she is right now. So the card, interestingly, I wanted to see what card she landed on, and that's the stars, and that's spreading out, being visible to more people, networking, doing things. Where she is, and it's interesting, the cards that are around her, she has the sun and the cross. So exposure, if she's looking for this exposure, it's her burden. She's not getting it now. She's not able to network where she is. Also, if this is joy, this is a burden where she is right now. And the tree is like stable, staying put, kind of been there a long time. So this is kind of like a stillness spread. What she wants above her is this, what she's got is kind of this burden of staying put, being anchored where she is. But what she's got next to her here is the path. So there's definitely thinking of splitting something. And on this side with the fox, which is surrounded by pretty good cards other than the mountain, which is kind of like the heavy uphill climb. So I'm going to say this is her job where she is, and the path may split. So she may actually find herself, whether it's in a decision of two, actually taking more than one direction. This also suggests job and money and income. And house is suggesting a small group of people where she is. So she may be working with a very tightly knit group of people. The job movement, if you look at fox, ship, and key, so the key or the answer basically has to do with, for this job, has to do with this movement, and that's further affirmed. The answer to her question basically is the stork and migration, and that is, will she get this job by 2013? This is movement, and that says yes. And stable is also a job card, and that can be something like a very stable job, so that's good. And garden has to do with our community and things we do with our community. So that kind of supports what she wants, being a help of people, to help of people in her community. So very quickly there I see a yes. When we look at what's further in her past, how she is seen, or her reputation, or the moon, we see that what's taken away from her, the mice, her reputation, and then her reputation splits. So how she sees herself or how others see her may not be fully to its best potential. She did have a contract, so it appears she's where she is, but because that first card down is also kind of the theme of the spread, this is really important because we're asking about contracts. We're asking about doing good, so purity of the lilies. We look at all the other corners of job and community. So there's the answer to her question right there. If you want to take a look down at these final three cards like you would in a grand tableau, kind of the destiny cards, and you read these as a trio. We've got broom and whip, tree, and birds. So basically, if you put this into a sentence, it could say, sweep out where you're stuck, start talking. So it almost like meetings, interviews, that sort of thing. And that's the key. Now it may take some time because we got the mountain here, so that's kind of like going through a process before we get there. But she does. These last three cards are all fantastic. This shows that process going from hard, staying put, to getting to discussions with people. Now you can use all your same techniques that you do in a traditional grand tableau, and I've outlined those in previous videos, but you can look around her to describe her in a 9-card spread. You can look around the job to see what it says about it. Letter, book, and anchor. So like a resume and knowledge and learning. She may have to go through some kind of training, and then anchor, which is the job. Very nice process there. And it's funny because the book and the learning is under the ship and transportation, so she probably may have to drive somewhere to learn this or do this. It may be a difficult process while she makes that split, doing two things at once, but it looks like that training is going to get her exactly what she wants. It's some kind of a process. You can do all the other things that you do in a reading, such as knighting, okay, and you can do the diagonals. We won't be able to do counting because of the houses. We don't have any houses under here. If you wanted to add houses and get really complex with this, you could. Just take another deck and put the cards down first and see what cards are underneath each of these. Shuffle them up and see how they come up.